Hello and welcome to the recording of Distinguish Yourself in the Interview. My name is Michelle Mortini. I'm one of the consultants with the Impact Group. We get to work with a wide variety of job seekers as they make the leap from looking to landed. And I'm really excited to talk with you today about distinguishing yourself in interviews. This is a subject that's particularly important to me because in addition to the work that I do with Impact Group, I'm also a recruiter and have been for about 14 or 15 years now. So I've really seen the value that preparation and strategy play when someone's coming into the interview process. And let's face it, in today's market, most companies are going to use the interview as their prominent method of making hiring decisions, and fair or not, the success of your interview will likely determine whether or not you get the job offer. That great resume, it can get your foot in the door, but it's the interview that lands you the job. And being prepared for the questions that you'll be asked in the interview is the best way to alleviate some of the stress of the interview, but also raise your confidence level. So in today's session, we're going to concentrate on some questions that, you can probably anticipate, but also we'll discuss how to prepare yourself to answer those questions. And let's begin with the first question that you're likely to be asked in the interview. Tell me about yourself. Your chances of being asked this question right off the bat, they're pretty good. So your 60-second or even 30-second presentation statement, sometimes known as your elevator pitch, it's simply a personal introduction that you can use to quickly and articulately describe who you are, where you've been, and also where you want to go. And CNN challenged Eddie Turner to deliver his pitch in 30 seconds, and we're going to show you what he said. For those of you listening to the recording, just a little note, you may need to turn up your volume a little bit to hear everything that Eddie is saying. So for those of you who didn't catch all of it, let me repeat Eddie's introduction. I am extremely passionate about technology and learning, and I'm very interested in using my years of experience in technology support and teaching combined with my Northwestern education to help manage an organization's technology project team. Or for an organization that has a learning and talent development department, I'd love to help them power up their employee engagement through the use of technology such as social media and the Apple iPhone. And really ask yourself, how do you like it? And what we often hear is that people like the clarity of Eddie's statement. It's easy to understand what he does, but he also does a great job of speaking to the needs of the employer. So, looking at some of the other difficult questions that you might get, up until now, the interviewer has only seen your resume and maybe they've talked with you on the phone. Now this person wants to see you in action. And this deceptively simple question, tell me about yourself, it's often the icebreaker, but it can be kind of intimidating. The interviewer is evaluating your communication skills, delivery, confidence, and poise. So how do you formulate an answer to tell me about yourself? Well, you want to speak to the points in your presentation statement. Keep your remarks work and career related and be concise. This is absolutely not the time for an autobiography. Don't waste time talking about your childhood, your schooling, your hobbies, etc. Everything you say should convey the following message. I have strengths and achievements that match the requirements you are seeking. Even with this, the first question, you're beginning to sell yourself. And then here's another question that you may be asked early in the interview. What are your strengths? Well, your answer is something like, I'm very customer focused. I have strong follow-through skills. As a result, my customer satisfaction ratings have exceeded 98% for the past 3 years. In order to answer this question successfully, you really need to take some time to inventory your skills, experience, strengths, weaknesses, particularly in terms of how they relate to the job for which you're interviewing. This is the self-assessment, self-knowledge component that's so important to your interview success. And then what are your strengths? Well, to do well here, you simply have to show how well you match the job role, that you're exactly what the interviewers need. And you can use the PAR stories. Remember, those are the problem, action, result examples. You can use these PARs very effectively in answering this question. You'll be demonstrating strengths and the value, that is the benefits and solutions that you bring to the party. But choose your PARs wisely. You want to select those that map best to several of the most important requirements of the job. Be specific, use metrics in your results, and this will help you be memorable. And then you want to be prepared for this question. Why did you leave your last position? Well, you could say something like, my company has gone through 3 major reorganizations in the last 5 years and a recent merger that resulted in a 20% reduction in force. 2 months ago, they made a decision to eliminate 18 positions from the core marketing team, and mine was one of them. I had an opportunity to transfer, but I chose not to. I also have the opportunity to apply for other positions within the organization, but right now they seem limited, especially with my skill set and experience. That's why I'm very interested in discussing this position with you and learning more about what it entails and how I can match my value with your needs. And here's a specific answer from another candidate who left her position due to a relocation. Each geographic move my husband and I have decided to take has been a result of a career opportunity for one or both of us. My successful track record in 4+ markets as both an employed account manager and independent consultant demonstrates my ability to develop effective account relationships quickly, even in a new market. Those transitions help me develop my strengths in quick evaluation, needs assessment, and communication campaign development. They also helped me develop a style which is more global versus regional. And then the next question, why do you want this job? Well, this is your opportunity to concisely and compellingly convince the interviewer that you're a great match for the job. And here's your chance to say, this is exactly the kind of work I like to do, and you know what? I can do it very well. And then back that up with specific achievements, skills, and past experience that map directly to the requirements. As for why you may want to work for the company, well, you want to use the research that you've done to emphasize how the company's goals align with your career goals. But do try to avoid those predictable responses, such as, it's a great company. And still talk about why it's a great company. Explain how your career goals are in alignment with the organization's goals. And then what is your most significant achievement? Well, this is your dream question. This is the one you've been waiting for. You've figured out what the most important requirement of the job is, the absolute deal breaker. Chances are you've carefully selected your most outstanding PAR story to support your ability to meet this requirement. You've wisely chosen the one that was most challenging, most remarkable, and the one that you're most proud of. That's the achievement you save for this question. And then, you want to finalize your story by identifying the strengths you demonstrated with this achievement. But try and do all this under a minute, and if you do so, you will really distinguish yourself from the competition. What about, why should I hire you? Well, this is another great opportunity. This is one where you can pull away from the rest of the pack. And it's all about what you can do for the company, not what they can do for you. So focus on how you can handle the responsibilities of the job. Show your readiness to take on the job. Briefly review your qualifications, that is your experience, achievements, skills, and qualities, and why they make you an asset to their company, why you're the best candidate for the job. You want to emphasize that you've done a good job in the past and will certainly do the same for them once hired, and describe your potential to do great things. But don't come across as boastful, but don't be humble either. You want to really portray being assertive and being confident when you answer this question. What about salary questions? What do you do when you hear, what salary do you have in mind? Well, this is a tough one. Remember, you want to delay discussing salary until the company has a strong enough interest in making an offer. And when it comes to talking money, whoever mentions specific dollars first usually loses. So you can say something to the effect of, salary is important to me. Even more important to me, though, is understanding the scope and responsibilities of the job to ensure that I'm a good match. If the interviewer is insistent, though, throw the question back. I've been wondering about that question myself. What is the range that you're offering? So speaking of salary, I think it's very fair to say that it's so important to do your salary research before the interview. Use salary research sites like Glassdoor and Salary.com, and you can find a list of these sites in the IMPAXIS links database. But you should have a salary range in mind prior to the interview. And if the interviewer still won't let you off the hook, say something like, having researched the salary in XYZ, whatever city it might be, for someone with my skills and level of experience, I would expect something in the range of X dollars to Y dollars. And always provide a range rather than a specific number, and let them know that you're negotiable. And if you're faced with a question such as, what's your current salary? Don't feel obligated to provide an answer. You can say something like, I was paid well and in line with job market conditions. I'd welcome the chance to discuss my compensation later in the process when we've decided I'm the right fit or the right person for this opportunity. And then why is asking the right questions important to your success in the interview? Well, because it shows that you've done your research and you're motivated to learn more about the company and the job. It differentiates you from the competition, but it can also help you determine if this really is the right company and job for you. Asking the right questions takes as much skill as giving the right answers. You want these questions to be so insightful and so perceptive that they become memorable for the interviewer. And ask questions whenever they're relevant. Don't wait just until the end of the interview. Try and stimulate some conversation. And as they respond to your questions, listen intently for any problems they identify. Can you provide some solutions? Think of this as your hidden agenda. Before asking the next question, demonstrate the value you bring by sharing suggestions to solve their problems, reinforcing that you are the best fit for the job. And the best questions, honestly, they're really all about them, not about you. So here are 4 examples that you might want to use. How would you describe the ideal candidate? How do you envision this position supporting you? How does this position fit into the company's long-term plans? How would you define success for this position? And then take it to the next level by adding questions that show that you've done your research. Visit the company's website and career center. Talk to your LinkedIn connections and other contacts. Explore the most recent news stories and articles related to the company. And so now you're just about to the end of the interview, and you've got to think about what are the items that you want to make sure you cover. Well, you really need to summarize your qualifications and re-emphasize your interest in the job. Ask if your qualifications seem to match what they're looking for. And this helps you determine whether they think you've done well in the interview and have a real interest in you. If they seem a little bit evasive, ask what questions they have relative to your candidacy. You want to identify any gaps between your experience and their requirements. And you'll address any concerns that they share in your follow-up correspondence. And if you feel like you'd be a perfect fit, well then say so. Ask for the job if you feel comfortable doing so. And definitely inquire about the next steps. Ask when a decision will be made. Find out if you'll be contacted or if you should follow up with them. Ask for a business card from every single interviewer for follow-up purposes and give them one of yours as well. And then, of course, remember to thank them all. Phew! All right, you've just had a grueling interview. When you get home and you've had some time to relax and just kind of decompress, what's the first thing that you want to think about doing? Well, we recommend that you complete the Interview Performance Self-Evaluation tool that's located in the library on IMPAXIS. And you want to do it while your experience is still really fresh. This self-report card enables you to candidly check what went well and what didn't go well, and then follow up immediately on any loose ends or commitments that you've made through the interview. Then don't drop the ball here. Remember your follow-through skills, important later on in the performance of the job, they're being judged here. And then write a thank you email to all of your interviewers within 48 hours at most. And this is essential for 2 reasons. 1, it's just good etiquette, and most employers expect it. But 2, it's another opportunity not to be missed for you to market yourself and to showcase your written communication skills. And thank you emails can make or break you, so take care in composing one. Keep it concise, no more than 3 to 4 paragraphs, and personalize each letter. You want to include a statement of your appreciation, and then reinforce your understanding of the job and how you are the best fit. Address any open issues or any perceived gaps in qualifications. Did you fail to mention a project or assignment that could reinforce that you have the right stuff? Also think about, did you fail to answer a question adequately, or maybe you weren't able to answer it at all? If you think this could be a deal breaker, by all means, respond to the question in your follow-up correspondence to dispel any doubts or misunderstanding on their part. And then close the note in a positive, upbeat manner. Restate your interest in and motivation to do the job. And then finally, answer the question, what is the greatest value I bring, in one compelling, dynamic, final sentence. And the IMPAXIS library contains samples of dynamic emails that you can use in all aspects of your job search, including follow-up to your interviews. Many candidates ask us, well, what do I do if I don't hear anything? What should I do? A good rule of thumb here is to wait 1 week before making a follow-up call. And there's a fine line between being conscientious and being annoying. So, these days it's not unusual for the hiring decision to take as long as 8 weeks, sometimes even longer. So both patience and persistence are called for here. But don't stop searching as you wait for that sure offer. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. The upside to continuing your search is that you may uncover a new and maybe even better opportunity that does result in an offer. And by doing this, you've just created another option for yourself, one that can be potentially leveraged in salary negotiations down the road. So I want to say thank you for viewing our session on distinguishing yourself in the interview. We wish you the best of luck in your upcoming interviews, and we hope this workshop has been helpful. Thank you.